Hello class, you are welcome to the virtual online class organized by the Nectar Schools. So this class is GSS2 Mathematics, and our first topic for this term is data presentation. Data presentation. Let's move on. In this class, we shall be discussing the meaning of data, the types of data, presentation of data, how do we present data, frequency and frequency tables, and lastly, charts, the different types of charts. Let's start from the meaning of the word data. I believe that you've probably heard of data many times. You are in GSS2 now, and the word data is not a new word to you. I believe it is a familiar word. If you can vividly recollect, when you were in primary 2, or should I say primary 1, when computer was firstly introduced to you as a subject, you must have been taking what data mean. Data is said to be a raw fact then. That is how we define data, isn't it? We say data is a raw fact. When something is raw, it means something that has not been processed, something that has not been cooked. Raw fact, and information that has not been well established. So now this is mathematics, not computer studies, and the meaning of data still remain the same. So now the word data means information, which is usually given in the form of numbers or facts. This tells us that data as an information can be given in numbers or facts. Data simply means what we know about something or someone. For instance, when you are asked about the data of your class, you simply answer by telling what class you are, the number of students in your class, name of your class teacher, and so on. You might as well even go further by stating the number of desks you have in your class, the color on the wall of your class. All those are called the data of your class, the information of your class. That is the meaning of data. Let's proceed to the types of data. Data is basically divided into two types: the qualitative data and the quantitative data. When we say qualitative data, say after me, qualitative data. These are non-numerical data. The word non-numerical means something that do not deal with number. Non-numerical data and are described only in words. For example, name of your class teacher, color of an object, the taste of a particular food, and so on. The other type of data, which is quantitative data, deals with numerical data. Deals with what? Numerical data. It is usually given in form of number or measurement. For example, the number of female students in your class, the number of schools in Lagos State, for instance, the number of teachers in your schools. You know, when you want to give answers to those questions, your answer would be in numbers. It would be in figures. Like, there are 22 teachers in my school. There are 114,000 schools in Nigeria. There are 21 female students in my class. We call that quantitative data because it deals with numbers. Now let's move on. Presentation of data. How exactly do we present information? How do we present data? Data needs to be presented properly so that it is well understood. If you give an information or if you give information that is not properly presented, the person you are giving the information to would not understand you. For better understanding, the way we present data is important. There are 4 basic ways of presenting data. This is telling us that we can present our data in different ways, but there are 4. What are they? The frequency table, the bar chart, the pie chart, and the pictogram. Let's say that together. Frequency table, bar chart, pie chart, pictogram. Let's move on. What is a frequency table, or what do we mean? What do we understand by the word frequency table? Let's start from the key word there, frequency. To your understanding, what do you think frequency means? Frequency. When you are asked, how frequent do you go to the toilet? The meaning is just that, how many times do you go to the toilet? How many times do you ease yourself? Frequency simply means the number of times something occurs. Can we take that together? Frequency simply means the number of times something occurs. You are not talking, I can see you. Let's take it together again. Frequency simply means the number of times something occurs. Very good. For example, Aisha goes to school 5 times a week. Aisha goes to school 5 times a week. The word 5 times there is telling us the number of times Aisha go to school in a week. I hope you get that. Now, what do we now mean by frequency table? A frequency table is a diagram or table that shows the number of times something happens or occurs. Frequency table is a table that shows the number of times something happens or occurs. That means a frequency table shows the frequency itself. Let's take this example for better understanding. Example 1 says, in a mathematics test conducted for 15 JS2 students, 2 students scored 18, 7 students scored 17, 4 students scored 15, 1 student scored 14, and 1 student scored 12. Now the question is to construct a frequency table for the data given. All this is an information. All these are what? Information. Information about what? Information about a mathematics test that was conducted for 15 JS2 students. And this information is telling us the score that the students have and the number of students assigned to each score. Let us see how that is done. Step 1 is to construct a table of the scores and their frequency. Mind you, we are using score here because the question is on score. We might have questions that talks about other things like means of transportation, type of food, and so on. But let us concentrate on this example. This example is basically about score. Are we together? Thank you. Now, these are the scores and these are the frequency. That is the number of times those score occurred. From the table, as you can see, 18 as a score occurred how many times? 2 times. Very good. 17 as one of the scores occurred how many times? 7 times. So that means if I ask you that what is the frequency of score 12, what would the answer be? Thank you. The frequency is 1. That is, score 12 occur how many times? Just once. Thank you. So now step 2 is to put the scores and their frequency. 2 students scored 18, 7 students scored 17, 4 students scored 15, 1 student scored 14, and the last student scored 12. I believe you understand. Let's move on. You can as well represent a frequency table in a vertical form. You know, the word vertical means something coming from the top to the bottom, like this. Something coming from the top down. You understand that? The other one that we treated is an horizontal table. And see, this is the direction of the table. So if you want to represent it in a vertical form, it is still the same. Your score, your frequency. 18, 2, 17, 7, 15, 4, 14, 1, 12, 1. That is a frequency table. What is a bar chart? A bar chart is a graphical representation of data. The word graphical representation means something that is drawn on a graph. Something that is drawn on a what? On a graph. What does a graph mean? A graph is a sheet that has 2 vertices, something like this. You have a line coming like this, another line going like this. The horizontal line and the vertical line. In some other ways, a graph could be like this. This is the vertical and this is the horizontal line. Very good. So a bar chart is a graphical representation of data. If you don't want to represent a data on a frequency table, you can represent it on a bar chart. A bar chart represents data as vertical or horizontal bars. This simply means data represented on a bar chart could be a vertical bar like this, a vertical bar like this, or horizontal bar like this. The length of each bar depends on the amount that it represents. What does that mean? The length of each bar depends on the amount that it represents. A bar of 7 units would definitely be longer than a bar of 4 units. That is what the statement means. Let us treat this example to aid better understanding on bar charts. Example 2. The frequency table below shows the method by which 47 students go to school every day. Study it and construct a bar chart to represent the data given. Let us see the frequency table. This is the table showing the method by which some students go to school every day, and the frequency, that is number of students that use any of this method. You know, the other time we were talking about scores and frequency, I told you that we were particularly using score the other time because we are dealing with the score of students in a mathematics test. Now we are dealing with method of transport. How do 47 students go to school every day? 9 students go to school using bicycle. That is, 9 students go to school every day by bicycle. 15 students go to school every day by trekking. 15 students walk to school every day. How many students go to school by bus? Very good. 6 students. How many students go to school by car? 5 students. And 12 students go to school by lorry. Now this is the what? Frequency table. Shall we use this table now to construct our bar chart? Very good. Let us construct now let's construct our bar chart. Here is the bar chart representing the data on the frequency table. This is the graph. This is the vertical line, and this is the horizontal line. The both of them meet at this point. This point is called origin. Okay, origin, point 0. On the vertical line, it is represented by frequency. The frequency from the frequency table is on the vertical line of the bar chart. And the method of transport is on the what? Horizontal line. Very good. These are bars. These are bars that represent the method by which those students go to school. We said 9 students go to school by bicycle. If you look at the bar, the length of bicycle, you would see that it is almost up to 10, but it is not 10. That is because the scale that is used for this chart is 5, 10, 15. So definitely our 9 should fall somewhere here. And that is why the length of the bar is like this. Is that taken? How many students go to school by trekking? How many students go to school by walking? 15 students. If you look at the height or the length of the bar, you will see that it is up to 15. Is that taken? 7 students go to school by bus. We assume that number 7 is somewhere here, and that is why the length of the bar is like that. 5 students go by car. You can see. And 12 students go by what? By lorry. Don't mind the pen. The hand is not straight. But you can use your hand as well to trace it out. 12 should be somewhere here. And that is why the length of it is there. That is the solution to the question. This is the frequency table, and this is bar chart to represent the data on the frequency table. Now, have a quick exercise. I need you to put this down somewhere, solve it, and let me see your working. This is a quick class work. 27 people travel from Kano to Lagos. 5 go by car, 4 go by air, 8 go by train, 10 go by bus. Show this data on a frequency table. You can use any design. You can decide to use the horizontal frequency table or the vertical frequency table. Anyone, it's okay. And I also want you to show this data on a bar chart. That means I want you to represent it on a bar chart too. So you do that. But before you go, finish this class with me. This is your home activity. You are to use the data given in the picture showing the height of mountains in the world to answer the questions that follows. These are the heights of the mountains. These are the mountains. We have Mount Everest, Mount Aconcagua, Mount McKinley, Mount Kilimanjaro, and Mount Blanc. Each of them have their height. Okay, you study it and you answer these questions. Question 1 says, what is the height of Mount Kilimanjaro? That can easily be determined by using your hand or your ruler to trace the bar of Kilimanjaro, the depth of the bar, to know which of the height it falls on. Is that taken? Question 2 is, what is the height of Mount McKinley? Question 3, which mountain is 4,800 meters high? And the last question says, find the difference in height between Mount Everest and Mount Aconcagua. You can do that. Your home activity number 2 is to draw a bar chart for the data given in example 1. I hope you still remember example 1. This is example 1, and this is the frequency table. So I want you to construct a bar chart for this particular example. Okay? That will be the end of today's class. In our next class, we shall be talking about the other types of charts. We shall be talking about pie charts and pictogram. You can as well retake this on your own. See you in the next class. Read your books, do your homeworks, and don't forget, be safe.